and the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Jenkins, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 Podcast for Tuesday, July 15th. We begin with an update to the weekend violence in the city. As we've told you both on air on Wish TV and on the podcast, 7 people have died. This includes a teenager and 2 children. As of now, police confirm 19-year-old Anthony Bean is the only person under arrest following those 6 shootings. Outside of this, Mayor Joe Hogsett says crime in the city overall is down. IMPD Chief Chris Bailey confirmed this. He says violent crime has decreased 20% when compared to 2023. But despite the drop in numbers, he is warning residents.
If you step out, my officers have the direction of strict accountability. We have to enforce the law. We will enforce the law, and whether it's downtown or our neighborhoods, to keep our community safe. That
was Chief Chris Bailey you just heard from there. Indianapolis Fraternal Order of Police President Rick Snyder is speaking out on the matter. He released a statement saying, begging and peace tents won't solve the violence overtaking our capital city. Indianapolis neighborhoods and our downtown deserve consistency, not complacency. As peacemakers, we are called upon to make peace, not beg for it or posture for it. Snyder also called the proposed curfew changes for kids and teens a shallow and short-sighted approach. On the city's west side, a woman is dead after an incident that happened shortly before 10 last night. IMPD tells us that officers were called to what was initially reported as a stabbing at a home on Alton Avenue near West Michigan and Tibbs. At the scene, officers say they found a woman suffering from trauma. She died at the scene. Investigators say they are questioning some people of interest, but are still trying to piece together what happened. And we are still working to learn what caused the crash of an aircraft at Indianapolis Regional Airport that sent a paraglider to the hospital. Hancock County dispatchers tell us that the crash happened around 8:40 last night. Several fire departments responded to that scene, while EMS from the Buck Creek Township Fire Department took the paraglider to Methodist Hospital. At last check, there was no word on the extent of their injuries. A total of 84 members of Indiana Task Force 1 are now in Texas. The second round of first responders arrived yesterday morning. Our News 8 crew got the chance to catch up with a few Hoosiers who answered the call. Kat Sandoval reports.
The first responders I spoke to say it's about being a Hoosier, and it goes hand in hand with helping. They also say a lot of first responders who were on the ground when the flood hit July 4th are tired and exhausted. Additional help can not only expand the search, but give families and other rescue teams time to rest. Captain Jeremy Pell and his dog Rosie have been searching for signs of life for days in Kerrville, Texas, right outside Camp Mystic.
I've been a firefighter for 36 years, and I see cars, campers, personal belongings that are 30 feet up in a tree, and they were just tossed around. It's difficult to comprehend if you haven't seen it before.
At least 132 people have died and 150 more are missing when flash floods hit on July 4th.
In the heart of a first responder, and in this case, the heart of Hoosiers, is to help other people, to maybe make their life a little bit better at its worst moment.
Another Hoosier helping is Andy Ivankovich, a CEO that travels between Comfort, Texas and Carmel, Indiana. When he saw that Indiana Task Force 1 needed help getting additional 35 first responders to Texas, he and his company, Baker Hill, booked 35 flights.
We can probably use our American Express a little bit more faster than just trying to route some of the government resources. And so that's exactly what we did. Our team kind of just stepped up. As soon as they saw the guys coming off, they emotionally wept, just because the Hoosiers showed up, right? So that was kind of neat experiencing some of that because it's more about relief. And then again, trying to get these families provide some closure.
There are already 80 volunteers from Task Force 1 on the ground.
It's a godsend because the hope is to help bring closures to those families that are still missing loved ones. And so that whatever we can do to help help that, that is our job.
The volunteers work 12-hour shifts and at times traveling as far as an hour. And while the job is physically taxing, the volunteers I spoke to say it's emotionally hard as well. Reporting in Indianapolis, I'm Kat Sandoval, Wish TV, wishtv.com.
On to some national headlines. There are now limits on borrowing for federal student loans and a reduction in repayment options. That is due to the recent signing of President Trump's big agenda bill. Now, under the Parent Plus program, parents will be able to borrow only $20,000 per year. As for borrowers who take out loans after July 1st, 2026, they will be allowed to pay based on income.
There's sort of a new standard payment, which will give people, some people longer to pay the loans, which means their monthly payments will be lower, but you're going to pay more in interest.
There are other ways to get financial help besides federal loans, including scholarships, grants, and work-study jobs. President Trump is threatening Russia with steep tariffs as he approves selling American weapons to NATO to send to Ukraine for the war. The president says if a deal is not reached between the two countries within 50 days, he will implement what he calls severe tariffs that would target Russia's trading partners. During the presidential campaign, Trump said that he would end the war between Russia and Ukraine within 24 hours of taking office. But so far, Russia has rejected repeated U.S. attempts to negotiate a ceasefire. Let's talk sports. Some of the Pacers are in Vegas for the NBA Summer League. Yesterday, a guy who came off the bench a lot during the regular season had what some may say is the dunk of the summer. Johnny Furphy rebounded against the Bulls. He then went coast to coast and threw down the one-handed slam. It was a move that brought the Pacers and the crowd to their feet. While the team lost the game 114-106, Furphy and the dunk dominated social media. The team's post included a nod to the play from Tyrese Halliburton. The Pacers play their final summer league game against the Knicks this Thursday. And when it comes to the weather, Storm Track 8 says we're in for another hot and humid day. Meteorologist Marcus Bailey has your News 8 Daily 8 forecast.
We're at the peak of, the hottest part of our calendar year is kind of like the next couple of weeks. True to form, mid-80s, but it's going to feel worse than that because it is just super humid. More of that here as we go through this week. If there's any good news to pass along, this time yesterday, I know Tara and Ryan were both talking about the fog. Not an issue here this morning. East side, Lapel downtown, northwest side, Cicero and Whiteland, all fine, dry, no visibility issues. Now, Storm Tracker is showing a little bit of action right now, specifically just south or southwest of Indy. Good little downpour just north of Spencer in Owen County, and then a couple little blips closer to Sullivan or south of Sullivan, closer to Vincennes, down in Knox County, and then also a few storms when you cross over into Illinois. For this morning, I think we're going to be relatively quiet, but we will see our rain chances ramp back up this afternoon. We're into the mid-70s right now in Indy. Some of you have slipped into the 60s, but that is not super common. And again, overhead, you don't have a lot of clouds. We've got some storms that have been firing here out to our south and west. We'll start to see those evolve over central Indiana with the peak heating of the afternoon hours coming up. Storm Track 8 Futurecast as we go hour by hour from mid-morning to midday. And then specifically after lunchtime, there you go. Some of these storms that are starting to blossom that will continue through around 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. Once we lose the heating of the afternoon, our storm chances will go away. I've got us for a high of 87. That is average for this time of year. More important than that, with the high humidity, feels like temperatures will hang out into the mid-90s. I have more storm chances. In fact, maybe elevated. As we get later on into this week, we'll talk more about that. Also look ahead to a busy All-Star weekend forecast. That's all coming your way in just a few minutes.
To get a peek at Marcus Bailey's full forecast, just head over to wishtv.com, or you can download the Wish TV Storm Track 8 app. And don't forget to check out our Storm Track 8 weather blogs. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 podcast for Tuesday, July 15th. I'm Jeremy Jenkins for Wish TV and wishtv.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.